And there it is. Yep. And that's perfectly fine in the UK. No issues with that whatsoever.
I want people to feel like they belong there. I want people to feel like they love their neighbor. I want people to recognize their country.
Britain is under attack, not from a foreign army, not from missiles or bombs, but from within. From the cowardice of its own institutions, the silence of its own media, and the betrayal of its own government.
The reason Britain is falling apart is because England doesn't feel like England anymore. It's about the fact that people are coming in who don't speak English, who don't respect British culture at all, and England no longer feels like England. And it's time that everybody wakes up. So to restore the underlying values of the UK, I'm going to make England feel like England again.
And today, we're going to talk about exactly what is happening on the streets, the parks, the trains, and the courts of this once great nation. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications because we cover the stories the mainstream media refuses to touch. This channel exists because people like you demand the truth. Now let's get into it. A man, a foreign national, caught openly masturbating in a public park.
What are you doing, you creep? What are you fucking doing? You're in a public park, mate. You're chugging yourself off.
In broad daylight, in front of families, in front of children. This is not a rumour, this is not misinformation. This happened on British soil, in a country that once stood as a beacon of civilization and order. And what happened to him? Was he deported? Was he removed? Was there any serious consequence that would make any other person think twice before doing the same thing? The answer, as most of you already know, is almost certainly no. Because in modern Britain, the people who are supposed to protect the public have been so neutered by political correctness, so terrified of being called racist, that basic law enforcement has become a matter of ideology rather than justice.
Change here for the Northern Line. Exit here for University College Hospital.
A young British woman, a daughter whose parents have worked their entire lives, paid their taxes, contributed to this country for decades, subjected to a scene on public transport that no person should ever have to witness or endure. Her parents didn't pay into this system for that. They didn't build careers, raise families, and sacrifice their best years so that their daughter could be humiliated on a train.
I just felt that I was being pushed out. I felt like police didn't care about me. I'd given, nearly 8.5 years of my life to serve in the community, to working hard for the police, and then they didn't care about me anymore. The only reason I was asking these questions was because we were introduced as a safe space to ask questions, and if we can't speak about these things on a training course openly, where can we talk about them?
Here is where the story gets even darker. A Christian police officer, a man who served his community, wore the uniform, took the oath, forced out of his role. Why? Because he dared to question something during diversity training that he believed was morally wrong. He raised a concern, he asked a question, he did what any person of conscience would do, and for that, he was pushed out.
Against me were that I was racist, I was homophobic, that I'd broken policy on race, religion and culture, but I hadn't done any of these things. You have on a number of occasions engaged in discussions which have at times made people feel uncomfortable and unsettled. I mean, the only person that made a complaint from that training course, as far as I know, was the Muslim sergeant. To me, it felt like slander. You're tearing down my good name, and I felt like I was just being accused of all these things, and everything was spiraling out of my control. It was just gutting. I just didn't understand at all what was going on. So when I attended the police station, I was told to go into a side meeting room, and without even telling me why I was in the room or what was going on, the inspector started pointing a finger at me and saying, "I don't like your beliefs. I don't like your beliefs." And I'm like, what have I done? I asked some questions on the training course which were appropriate questions about subject matter.
He had to fight through the legal system just to receive a settlement, just to be told that yes, what happened to him was wrong. But think about what it took to get there. Think about the months of stress, the career destroyed, the message sent to every other officer who might dare think for themselves. That message is simple: comply or be removed.
Wszechmogący wieczny Boże spraw, abyśmy żyjąc rozsądnie, pobożnie i sprawiedliwie zasłużyli na przyjęcie w chwili naszej śmierci Najświętszego sakramentu ciała i krwi naszego Pana Jezusa Chrystusa, który żyje i króluje na wieki wieków.
And then there is Henry Nowak, a man, a human being, gone. And in Poland, in a country that still understands what it means to honour the dead, to recognise the value of a life, ordinary Polish people took the knee. Not for a political movement, not for a corporation, not for a media campaign. For Henry Nowak, a human being who lost his life. Strangers kneeling in solidarity, in grief, in shared humanity. It is one of the most powerful images you will see because it is completely and utterly real. And in Britain, the police refuse to honour him.
What would you have done in that situation with Henry Nowak?
So,
but have you not forgot what you needed now?
no, not really. I'd like you three to take a knee and say Henry Nowak's name.
I'm not going to do that.
You're not going to do that?
No.
Why would you not do that?
So I don't want to and I don't need to.
You don't want to, and you don't need to.
No.
Oh, that was a bit of a short stab on it.
Why?
Why would you not want to? He died at the hands of a police officer.
I'm not getting into that debate either.
It's not a debate. The evidence is out there. The evidence is out there.
Okay.
The police have put the evidence out there. His force have put the evidence out there. He did not do his job properly,
Okay.
and now you refuse to. Your own opinion, your personal
refuse to
opinion.
do what, sorry?
You refuse to take a knee for Henry Nowak.
So I don't...
You don't want to. That was your first response. You don't want to. So as a person, you don't want to.
They refused. This is a country where police officers have taken the knee in the street for politically approved causes, where they have marched and gestured and performed for the cameras. But for Henry Nowak, a man, a real victim, they could not bring themselves to offer even a gesture of respect. That tells you everything you need to know about who the British establishment serves. It does not serve you. It does not serve the ordinary British people or the communities who came here and contributed. It serves an ideology. It serves a political agenda, and the people be damned. This is Britain in 2026. Parks are no longer safe. Public transport is no longer safe. Officers of conscience are being driven out of institutions, and the victims who deserve honour are denied it while the system kneels for optics. But here is what they cannot take from us. They cannot take our voices. They cannot take this platform. They cannot take the fact that millions of ordinary people across this country are awake, are angry, and are done being silenced. Share this video. Share it with everyone you know. Comment below. Tell us what you think is happening to this country and what we do next. Because the conversation starts here, and we are not going anywhere.